Yeah.
What is
Yeah,
up,
guys?
guys?
What's
Hey,
up? What's
hey.
up? Oh man,
Yeah.
I have been excited for this live stream for probably a month and a half, 2 months.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep, you haven't shut up about it.
Not stop talking about it.
Yeah. It's funny because Heritage had an amazing lot about 2 months ago, and I thought, how could they do better? And then they have this
they
lot.
did.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Well, we have a great auction up today. We're potentially likely going to see a record sale for the highest comic sold ever publicly. And before we get into that, we want to make sure everybody out there knows we have a giveaway. Win these comics, X-Men 197. We're giving these away to a lucky winner. Make sure to get involved in the giveaway by going on our Twitter page. It's pinned at the top. You can enter now, add a chance to win these. The giveaway is open worldwide. What's really interesting too, these were pointed out yesterday. Actually, if you looked at the colors of Beast, some of them are different colors. So like you see that?
You were showing me that yesterday.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
One's a little more purpley.
Scooch it over a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the last guy, he's a little different.
Yeah, interesting. So I don't know if that was a misprint or if it's an error, but something to keep in mind.
Somebody's gonna get it.
Somebody's gonna get it. Yeah. But this it's happening in California, and I've confirmed up in Canada as well. Someone pointed it out, so it's definitely happening. Yeah, around the world. So very interesting. Also, we have a newsletter.
Woo!
Whoa!
Yeah.
We have a bi-weekly newsletter that updates on everybody on sales. We have a bi-weekly blog about different topics in the physical and digital space. We talk about record sales in the physical and digital space, exclusive giveaways. So make sure to get involved in that newsletter, guys. It's really, really awesome. And of course, like and subscribe to our channel. If you haven't done so already, smash that like button. We don't say it enough, but we're starting to say it now.
Yeah. Notification button too.
Everyone says
notified.
And of course, today, why not bring a special guest on, huh? A very special guest today to join us, and very excited to bring out.
Special guest is getting bored.
Corey!
Hey guys!
What's up, buddy?
So stoked to be here. How's everyone doing?
Good.
What's up, Corey? Good to see you, bud.
It's good to see you guys. I haven't seen you in person since New York Comic Con. Is that about right?
New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
Good to see all your beautiful faces.
Oh.
So you're talking about the little animated X-Men comic. What's the deal with the shiny beast? Is that like a Pokemon skin? Like what's going on there?
Yeah, different colors. It's really weird.
I've seen people doing screenshots of like Magneto's gauntlets too. Like there's all kinds of weird color scaling. I think it's gonna make it like mega valuable, or is it like everyone's too hip to that now? Like everyone gets it.
I don't know, maybe, man.
I think there's always room for errors in the collectible market.
Fair.
We'll see how serious it is.
We need like a story. It needs to be like a Hulk #1 thing where it's like he was supposed to be gray. It was my original intention. He represents all walks. Gray is a neutral color. Can be anything. And then it creates a legend.
Hulk doesn't see color.
Oh, he doesn't, huh? Wait, does he? Anyways, today we are going to go through. So before we go into the actual auction that's happening at 10 a.m. in 25 minutes, we have a breakdown of some of the comics that we're really excited for that are being sold today on Heritage Auction. And Corey, I'm really pumped that you're here for this, man. This is a historic day.
Stoked.
I presume.
You guys are always like following all the auctions and talking about all the stuff. And like, honestly, I stay up to date with what's going on and like VHSs, video games, like all that case stuff because of your all's posts. Like, I just don't have the time to sit there and follow all of it. So whenever you told me that this was happening, I didn't even know it was happening. I was like, oh, snap. What's this all about? And then I looked and I was like, holy crap. Like, let's go for it.
Yeah, this is going to be a really fun day. So here are some of the comics actually that we're really excited about. First one. So this is Silver Surfer #1, which I hope to see on VV one day. This is one of my favorite covers of all time. It's the first edition of the Silver Surfer series. Came out in 1968. This copy is signed by Stan Lee.
Yeah,
which is really
cool. The label too.
Iconic.
Yeah. And this is actually what's really special about this comic is that it's the only yellow label for a 9/8. There's only one.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
only one.
Only one.
Ambitious to get something like this signed.
Yeah.
Well, the recent 9/8 sale for this comic was around $130,000, and that was actually back in January, so very recent.
Oh, really?
This is
so for people that don't know what the heck's going on, yellow label. What's that mean, Sean?
It means the comic it has a signature on it that was witnessed by CGC.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it has to be witnessed. But now, actually, whole different conversation. But CGC acquired GSA, so now there's going to be a whole reworking in terms of signature series, which is really exciting news.
Very cool.
Next on the list, Avengers #6. Very, very cool comic. This one's currently at $132,000. This comic is in its highest grade. And if we reference Go Collect, there's only 5 editions as a 9/6. There's no 9/8s. And the recent sale was back in 2018 for $194,000, which back in 2018, that was before the comic boom.
Yeah.
The comics were definitely going up, but 2019, 2020, 21, that's when comics really took off. So I'm very excited to see what the sale is going to go. It's currently at 132,000. I would be surprised, just to give a prediction, I'd be surprised if it goes under $500,000. That's my prediction. Yeah. Yeah. Very deserving.
At this point, how many comics had Iron Man been gold in? Because, his first appearance, like he has like the ugly armor and like children are crying in a circus tent. They're like, it's hideous. And then Iron Man's girlfriend, who doesn't know he's Iron Man, they go to dinner and she's like, that Iron Man sure is a hero, but he's so scary. If only he'd paint his armor a color like the knights of old would wear. And Tony Stark's like, I really like this chick. And that's a good idea. I'm going to paint it gold. Right. So that's like the second version, like the Mark II or whatever. Yeah. So like, I wonder how many comics at this point he had been gold, like Avengers #1. How soon after that first appearance, Tales of Suspense was it?
There was quite a few Tales of Suspense comics with him in this suit.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure, but gold, actually, that's a good point. Gold. I don't know how many were actually gold. Good. That's a really good trivia question.
I like that.
Oh, man, think about that.
Like the original, he's just like such a gnarly dude, right?
Yeah, it's really rad.
He just looks like a man.
Cave gonna fight some. What were they originally? They weren't like Vietnamese, but they were like a spinoff of what they were. And to prove himself, he had to do judo with their leader. It's like the best comic, dude. Like that story's bonkers. I love it. Anyway, go ahead.
And of course, this comic is available on Vivi. So anybody who has this comic, very, very cool to own this one. I've been eyeing low mints for this one for quite some time. Next, we have Strange Tales 110, first appearance of Doctor Strange.
Woo! I didn't know you wanted us to fill in the
blank. I thought you were thinking. I was like,
we were all like,
I thought you were like having a stroke or something. I don't know.
I was like, what's happening?
So this also is this comic is also in its highest grade. And there's only 7 on the census. And the latest public sale for this 9/6 was back in 2014 for $66,000, which is crazy. There's 7 of them, but people are holding. They have not sold these comics in its highest grade. So it's really exciting to see these comics sell in their highest grades because it lifts the ceiling. The ceiling will rise now, and it'll possibly help the rest of the collection in terms of value. So that's really exciting to see these highest sales. You don't really see them often because a lot of the times they're one of ones. And people just don't want to sell it. They're not interested in selling it. So very exciting.
But you're forgetting the most important part of this comic, and that is Paste Pot Pete is involved in this comic. A hero or a villain that's gone on, just to be immortalized in our hearts. And I guess since I'm here as a member of the VV team, it's important to note that one of the cool things about our exclusive covers on the digital side of the house is obviously Doctor Strange. He ain't on the front of this cover, but on our VV exclusives, he is. It's kind of a cool thing about some of these older comics on VV is that Marvel commission artists to give us exclusive covers that reflect whoever that first appearance character was. But I won't. I'm not here to pitch. I'm just here to geek out.
So if you own this comic on VV, definitely tweet it out. #PPP for life. But yeah, that's a really good point.
Love those loans.
That's a really good point because actually that does hurt the value of this comic. The fact that Doctor Strange is not on the cover. A lot of collectors have talked about that. And right now, we're still sitting at $111,000, which is its new record, regardless of where it goes. But it'll be interesting to see where this one ends up. We haven't seen a lot of sales for these in its highest grade, But I anticipate we'll probably see at least 300,000 for this one.
Wow.
If it hits 500,000, I'll be surprised. But I would hope to see it. That's awesome. But yeah, we haven't seen many sales for this. So, there could be opportunity when people look at this and like, we don't know when we're going to see another sale for this, so that people could FOMO into it.
Got to wonder what Doctor Strange's legs are, like in terms of like the MCU, because those some of those values are dependent on what's happening with the character and entertainment, movies, and all of that, and really big during the whole Infinity Saga with all of that.
Yeah,
but kind of, I don't know how
Going
people are
forward,
feeling
maybe not as
about the
much,
character moving forward. Like, it's cool to see like What If, the animated series, but like in terms of like big screen, I wonder how much more he has in him. I'd be curious to find out.
That's a really good question, Corey. And I think Marvel right now is trying to figure out who's now the leaders of the Avengers. Because Iron Man's gone, Captain America's gone. So who's going to lead the Avengers right now? I would presume that Doctor Strange would be one of them. Probably the all new Captain America, Sam Wilson, probably up there too. But you'll probably see those as kind of like the leading candidates in terms of leadership. I know that they're making another Doctor Strange film. It'll be interesting. Yeah. I haven't heard that Benedict Cumberbatch has like any interest in not being involved anymore. I think he's still like on board. He loves that character. So I hope to see it going. He crushes it. He's great. And pivoting to Daredevil 1, this is awesome. This is again, highest grade, 9.8. And it's currently at $336,000. And the last sale, actually, according to Go Collect, there's never been a public sale for this 9.8, which is crazy.
Really?
This is the Marvel Unlimited exclusive articulated Daredevil 1 replica figurine, same suit as Matt Murdock. The Devil of Hell Kitchen is wearing on that comic cover. I ruined the value by opening it, but how can I not play with my toys?
You gotta play with your toys.
You gotta play with them. Yeah, you gotta play with the toys.
Yeah, this comic is really special. I've been very excited to see this one sell for in its highest grade.
Same.
Right now it's at 336,000. I estimate this could probably go over 1 million. I think it's very possible. It's going to hover close to 1 million, but I think we might see 7 digits today for this one.
Wow.
It's very possible. Yeah.
And they have such a good actor for that. Like in pop culture currently.
He's so good.
Who is it? Charlie Cox, is that right?
Yeah, Charlie Cox.
He does such a perfect Daredevil. Like the Netflix series was just immense.
Yeah.
They did the one like super long shot scene where like it's sort of establishing the character and they do an unbroken full run through a hallway that just and we had never seen the character like that gritty version. And then he popped up again, obviously in She-Hulk. And that was kind of, I think people were back and forth with it, but the fan base of Daredevil is so huge. The people that want that character to succeed is so huge. And I'm really hoping that we see more kind of street level heroes on the big screen and on television. If that happens, I'm always kind of speculative whenever I look at this. I'm like, yeah, for sure. Like the history, the artists, how many exist, that matters.
Totally.
But how people know about these characters matters. So I got high hopes for Daredevil, man.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And would you know that there's a series coming out on Disney Plus? And I believe that Punisher might be in it. It's very exciting news. Nice. Very, very cool. And I think it'll probably hit all those points you mentioned. Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to hit all those points you guys mentioned. Very excited for it. Apparently, it's going to be like 20 episodes. So they're going heavy on Daredevil. Cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's going to be, they're really going heavy on Daredevil. So it's very exciting for this one to see where it goes. Next up, Sensation Comics number 1. And by the way, all the other comics that we mentioned are also currently available on Vivi. So definitely, keep an eye out for those. Yeah, to see where these comics go.
I think Chris Lee was our exclusive artist for that Daredevil 1. He did sort of a scene where he explodes through the side of a building. And our community of collectors voted on their favorite exclusive artists on Vivi because some of the exclusive artists have made a ton of covers. Yeah, and I think Chris Lee was one of the top 3 from the community vote, cool. And he did a soundbite talking about how much fun he had doing that. Must be cool as an artist, right? To like take one of those original covers. Like how often, even as just a Marvel standard artist, you get the opportunity to make a cover for, a Daredevil 1 or an Incredible Hulk number 1, any of those major grails. Really cool.
Yeah. Especially when a lot of the artists create physicals. of that. And they have one of ones at their disposal, which is really amazing because some of the artists they actually they do it digitally. Some of them have done it physically, and they still own those art pieces, those original VV art pieces. And I know a couple of people that actually own them, and we've talked to some artists that actually still have them. It's pretty remarkable.
Have you all chased any of those down?
No, not yet. Not yet. You know, we've talked to some artists that do have them. And we definitely let them know that they need to understand the value of those things because this community will go absolutely insane over them. They're not, and some people
they've gotten some lowball offers, but we definitely we've helped a couple of the artists understand the value of these things so that they don't accidentally get screwed. You know,
kind of the crazy thing about our community and a great thing about our community is a lot of people have sort of discovered physical collecting by collecting digital, but with that comes sort of a leveling up of your education of the space. And so I think a lot of people that got started on VV maybe just haven't dipped their toes in deep enough to the physical world to understand how much prints go for. You know what I mean? Like that's just a whole different stratosphere of value.
Yeah. Definitely. We've had a chance to meet Alex Saviuk a couple of times, and he did,
Incredible Hulk #1.
Incredible Hulk 1. He did AF-15 as well. And when we had a chance to meet him, we told him, do you still have those physicals? He's like, yeah, I still have all of them. I'm like, that's amazing. You got to hold on to it. And I said, AF-15, especially, my goodness. And he said, well, I mean, if somebody wants to pay $100,000 for it, and we looked at him like, that's very possible in the future.
That's a pretty fair offer. You should take that if somebody offers that. But
and it's hilarious because later we went to the Marvel floor. I was talking to David, you about it, and I said, David, Alex still has all that one-on-one artwork on the VV original covers, and he has AF-15. He's like, really? And he went and talked to him later, and he was like, I'm interested in buying one, and he said, and Alex said, okay, $100,000. Apologize, David, for that.
And now these, like Sensation Comics, you can find those on Candy Digital. Do they do exclusive covers?
Are you allowed to say that? Is that like Voldemort for you?
No. Like, I can't speak for everyone at the company, but the progression of digital collecting and it being more of a mainstream accepted things is a collective goal, I think, for everyone in this space, right?
Yeah, totally.
Because, it's hard whenever you post things out and then a lot of the physical collecting community is sort of alienated by that. And it's like, there's a space for all of us to exist.
Yeah, 100%.
And so that understanding, so other companies doing the same exact things, great for everyone involved. So it's definitely not a, it's not a Horcrux or something.
They're very different platforms. It's
maybe that's what digital collecting is. It's the Horcrux that's been split from the soul. So we need all of them to stay intact.
We need to bring together all the platforms.
And digital collecting is destroyed.
A really incredible analogy, actually. Look at one of the most famous analogies: Microsoft and Apple. They're competitors, but they're both very successful in their own right. And Apple and Microsoft are actually the number 1 and 2 company in the world right now. And guess what? Microsoft is number 1 right now over Apple, which blew my mind. I could not believe that, but I'm presuming because of AI. But anyway, Sensation Comics #1, one of the most significant comics for Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
it's a Wonder Woman #1. Her first appearance comic, All-Star Comics. This one is a massive grail, and the recent sale for this one was back in. There we go. Game on.
There it is.
Most recent sale. This is a one of one. This is one of the one of ones I was referencing. And there's only 76 Universal Blue Label comics on the census. This sold back in 2017 for $400,000. So, man, I think this one could probably hit towards $1 million, if not, see past that. It's very possible and very likely.
When did the Wonder Woman movie come out? I wonder if the movies at all influenced the timing of the sale and the value of the sale.
I think the first one came out around that time. Was it 2019? So. Somewhere around there. Yeah. Yeah, but those did. Yeah, the first one did just exceptionally well.
2017.
2017.
There you go. Yep. There you go. So around the same time. Yeah. Interesting. Wow. But also was before the boom too. So the prices of those were significantly less around 2017 and 18 compared
to 19. What's the boom about? Like what's the history with that? Why was there a boom?
It's during like 2020, 2021, we just saw a massive spike in prices. It was really during the bull run, when everything was just going off, including comics. Like everything was just skyrocketing in price. But we've seen it definitely a pullback in terms of prices. Everything's pretty much seen a 50% decrease in its highest grades, you know.
Gotcha.
But the difference is this one, like this, it's a 1 of 1, its highest grade, you know, compared to like Ultimate Fallout 4 that has like 5,000 plus 9/8. So you've seen like an all-time high around 4,000 to 5,000. It's retracted back down to about 1,000.
Is that during the same time as COVID then?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was talking to Vincent Zerzolo, you know, The Addiction, Metropolis Comics, Comic Connect. We're doing a live premiere on VV Official with him and David Yu.
So very excited for that.
David Quinn, the writer from Faust, right?
So cool. Oh yeah, Kevin knows all about Faust. Yeah.
But man, I was like, can I even show these comics on a screen?
You
would never know that David Quinn is the writer of Faust, you know, because he's just such a nice, really normal dude. But they were talking about that explosion in value during the COVID era. And it's because so many people were inside. So it's kind of like an exploration of your space. Then you find, you know, great Uncle Jim, you know, who was kind of a recluse. Then he has all this stuff in the closet.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And this comic is currently available, like Corey mentioned, on Candy Digital. The Legendary is around $200, which is pretty remarkable considering this comic is probably going to hit over 1 million. Yeah, really remarkable. Next up, we have Captain America Comics #1, like probably my favorite cover of all time. This is such a special piece. It's 9.2 grade, currently at $504,000 bid, and there are 2 9.4s, 1 9.8, and 3 9.2s, and that's it. There's 5 and essentially 5 in its highest grade. The last sale for the 9.2 was back in 2023 for $810,000. I mean, given the current price, it's very, very likely that it's going to exceed that.
Nice.
Man, that 198. Are you kidding me?
I know. No public sale, huh? Man,
I mean that I don't see a world where that doesn't hit 8 digits like in the next auction if it ever hits auction. Yeah, that's crazy.
Just 9.8,
and it's 1 of 1. That's the craziest part. It's a 1 of 1.
It's in a locker in San Bernardino.
Dude,
we'll talk about that later.
We'll get there.
This comic is currently not on VV, but we hope to see it in the future.
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm here to keep my job and have fun talking to my buddies.
This next one is really exciting. This one is very, very exciting because this is a 1 of 1 in its highest grade. Wow. Very similar to what we saw with Sensation Comics #1. This is a 9.8, currently at $645,000, and there is no public sale of this comic. But, however, this 1 of 1 comic actually did sell privately through Comic Connect, and it sold for $2 million.
Oh
wow! Yeah,
nice.
So I hope to see at least that number matched today. So
I'll be right back. My keyboard died.
I really hope that we see this grade or that price match today. We'll find out. That's a really big sale if that happens. That's fantastic. Yeah.
That'd be huge.
And next up we have
Sean. Maybe we're waiting for Corey to get back. So you keep saying numbers that are not the big number on the screen. You know, so maybe you could explain like buyer's premium to people who are looking at these and they hear you say, you know, $600,000 or whatever for this comic, but they see the big 537 number there.
True.
Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, so the buyer's premium is essentially the tacked on fee for the auction. So the auction takes that difference that the buyer has to pay that difference, but that buyer's premium, that a dollar amount difference is given to the auction house, and then the seller will take on this number minus whatever fees there are.
Gotcha.
So you have like maybe about 100-ish, 108,000. There you go, $108,000 difference, which is going straight to the auction house, and then they take on extra fees after that. Yeah. So that's what that means. So they assess the final price with the buyer's premium always.
Yeah.
So also Iron Man only had the silver armor for like 1 issue, and then it went to gold for like.
He's so horrifying.
So
he's like saving people, and the children are like crying.
Oh God!
I think for this one on VV, our exclusive artist was Trevor Von Eden and Israel Silva. For us, this was like a 10K mint. I'm pretty sure the secret rare for that one was a page pull of whenever he's coming out of the cave, which is like pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Secret rares on VV for the most part, for Silver Age comics specifically, they take Marvel selects one of the panels from inside the comic and increases it to make it the cover. And so it's kind of cool because you can sort of attribute the artist of our secret rare to whoever the original artist was of that comic, which is kind of a unique thing when you think about it. We always talk about our exclusive covers being commissioned for VV, but in a lot of ways, the secret rares are exactly the same. They're not commissioned for VV, but they are exclusive. There's nowhere else in the world where that art on that cover exists. So I really like this cover.
Yeah. This is a really special comic, and actually, the rare and ultra rare are probably some of my favorites.
Yeah, they're really nice.
The rare, especially, it's really cool. The sketch.
Trevor Von Eden's a really good artist.
He killed it. Yeah,
and Israel Silva always does a good job. Man, I hope that is who it is, or I'm going to look like a goofball. But I'm pretty sure that's who the artists are.
So Action Comics
the auction start. Do they start in 4 minutes?
It starts in 3 minutes. Yeah, so we have the last two to go through. Yeah, so this one is very cool because this is Action Comics 1. It's an A grade, but it's a purple label, which means there's restoration. So whenever you see a purple label, that means restoration. It could be anything from, so this one specifically has color touch pieces added, tear seals, cleaned, and reinforced. So basically the comic was probably falling apart and they helped reseal it. So there's restoration there. I don't mind restoration. I think there's a really negative connection that people have to restoration, but I think for Golden Age comics, it's totally okay. I mean, it's a beautiful cover. It looks fantastic. You get it at you always get it at a fraction of the price of what it would typically go for. The only time restoration comics that it's hard for me to like consider to take seriously is when they're trimmed, because typically when they're trimmed,
somebody's trying to game the system.
Someone's trying to cheat the system because and that's a shame because they're trying to tighten the edges and corners to get a better grade. Like I've seen one on a Captain America Comics #1. It was like a 9.2, and it's unfortunate because it really destroys the integrity of the comic.
It's just preservation. Like I feel like people should look at this more like art history and preservation, that you're ensuring that a legacy exists for the next generation.
Exactly.
Some of my favorite TikToks is there's a lot of companies that restore posters, like movie posters. Which is surprising. They like spray it with water.
They spray it on.
They do everything that you think you shouldn't probably do to a poster, but it cleans them, it presses them, it makes them look beautiful.
That's
for me, I'm just like, why wouldn't you do that? You know, why wouldn't you preserve that? Because once it's cased, it's art. Like you're not reading that comic anymore. It's literally a piece of artwork.
Yeah. I think the conception for restored comics is only going to get better over time, especially for the Golden Age comics.
I hope you're right.
Yeah. And for the recent sale for an 8.0 back in 2014, there's only two in terms of restoration. It's over $167,300. And as you see, the current bid right here is $336. It's already double the price from back in 2014, so 10 years ago. And it's probably going to go up even more. And of course, only $80,000 away from the record to tie the record. That's crazy. $5.22 million right now. This is an 8.5 pedigree from Kansas City collection. This is a really special comic.
Explain pedigree for people who may not know what that means, if you would.
Yeah, pedigrees basically are from, well, actually, Corey, do you explain pedigrees?
Essentially, a pedigree, it applies to any sort of art form. And so there's certain people in the world that are known for collecting certain sorts of collections. So there's coin collectors, stamp collectors, comic collectors, poster collectors. Sometimes whenever they pass away or they're just, liquidating their assets, the name of the person who actually was holding those properties has value in itself. And so to a collector, it's not just I have this comic, it's I have this comic from this famous person's collection. That is the pedigree of whatever it is.
Right. But for something to get a pedigree, the key distinction is that person had to have been the original purchaser of those comics.
Correct.
That person had to have actually been the person that bought them from the comic book shop. Like they can't have bought them secondhand and added them to their collection,
It's a chain of custody kind of thing. You're absolutely right.
It's really interesting too, because like Darren Watts, for example, we interviewed him recently. He inherited over $300,000 that were purchased by his dad.
300,000 comics.
Sorry, 300,000 comics. My apologies. Yeah, and he decided instead of doing a pedigree collection, he wanted to do an original label with the CGC.
Which also wouldn't really cool because it's not a pedigree.
No, he actually it's still a pedigree, I believe. Yeah. It's still pedigree.
Is it?
But he decided
I don't think it is.
Oh, I just opened up the comments on your YouTube channel, and John is saying the Kansas City pedigree is the first ever pedigree from comics ever from the 60s. So
Awesome.
that's really awesome. Thanks for that information.
Thanks, John.
It's
Thank
Jan.
you. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Wow.
Yeah, and we're off, boys. The auction is happening. Here we go.
What the? A bug just landed on my monitor. That's a bad omen.
Yeah, I totally agree, Brian. Yeah, restoration. Big shout out to Brian. Corey, so Brian's a really close friend of mine. And I met Brian at a convention in Sacramento, and he's taught me everything I know about comics. We've known each other for years.
Awesome.
And big shout out to Brian.
Brian's awesome, man.
You did a good job, Brian. Now he won't shut up about comics, and we love him for it.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
But good point, Brian. I agree. Restoration is still a dirty word in the collector world, but eventually it'll come down. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So this is
the comment bubble. It covers up Spencer's beautiful face. No,
okay. I'll switch it out. There we go.
There we go.
There you go.
There you go. I'll sacrifice the face. There you go.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can zoom in there a little bit. Is that better? Yeah, that's better.
Are you able to show the actual auction? We can just shut up and listen to that, or do reaction. Everyone loves a good reaction.
There.
Well, while we're waiting for it to get started, let's say hi to some of the family audience.
Yeah, Omar, what's up, bud?
Chris,
We got Chris Evers in the house.
Jeremy.
What's up, my friend Jeremy? What's up, Hakeem? It's coming up.
Hey.
It's coming up very soon.
Oh, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
We got
big congrats to Chris Severs. I've been seeing your articles on Go Collect. Awesome stuff there. Always appreciate your work.
Big shout out. Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Cool Mo? John, I missed all your comments. I was so locked into the conversation here.
I know we were so
look at the comments. I was but I didn't even need Andrew Ward. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, Andrew.
We got
how you doing, bud?
We got both Candy and BB in the house.
Hey, jump in the stream, man.
Oh, nice. There are exclusive covers on Candy Digital for Select Comics. We're looking to label these in the future to make them easier to find.
Very cool.
Wow, that's awesome. Awesome, Andrew.
That's a cool feature.
I love that.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's going on, Fro?
How you doing? Woo!
Hey, Fro actually is our recent giveaway winner. Yeah.
What'd he get?
Yes.
He won a McFarlane Toys graded collectible uncirculated of Batman.
Nice.
He just posted about that recently. Super happy. Congratulations to you for winning that. Yeah.
Bro, we're working on a new and improved merch experience at Comics and Crypto.
What does that mean?
We'll have the same old classics,
like scratch and sniff clothing. Like, what are we talking about here?
How do you know?
It smells like Kevin.
Why would you release
every shirt comes with one of Kevin's beard hairs?
Yeah. Unintentionally. It just happened.
Great that. Man. So this is really cool. I didn't know about this, but what a way to start the auction. This is a 3-page letter from Jerry Siegel to Russell Keaton on the origin of Superman from 1934. That is insane. The current bid for this is actually at $45,000 right now. That is wild. Wow.
Really cool. I love stuff like this.
Wow.
Yeah.
A miraculous canister lands on contemporary Earth containing a fearful sight for others who will strive through adversity to become a champion of the oppressed. The young Clark Kent comes not from Krypton or any alien world, but the cataclysmic, and that's all it says.
That's all we got.
I love stuff like this. For a second there, Kevin, I thought that the audio from the auction had come in, and I was like, this auctioneer just has the most amazing voice. Like, he should really get into broadcast.
He should get into radio. My God.
I love stuff like this. It reminds me of like who is it? Like Randy Schuler for Black Suit Spider-Man. Like he submitted a letter, and then they have like the proof of transactions of the creation of the Black Suit Spider-Man. And it's on a letterhead just like this, and they're like, we'll buy it from you, kid.
Yeah, we'll take one of those.
You got it, kid.
I love seeing stuff like this because this is something that someone could have easily just thrown out without understanding what it is.
Yeah.
And like recently there's a really cool story about the Pee Wee hockey cards from 1980. I believe 1980. which includes like the Grail Wayne Gretzky rookie card. There's only like 2 or 3 as a PSA 10 that have sold for millions of dollars. And this father and son were going through the basement and they found a case, not a box, a case of them, which 12 boxes. And some of them sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars each. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. So they put the entire case up on auction instead of opening it. They did the math, and apparently they're estimating there's going to be anywhere between 10 to 20 Wayne Gretzky rookie cards in the actual case. So it ended up selling the entire lot, sold for over $3 million.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I love hearing stories like that, man, because treasures are out there. They're still out there. It's pretty amazing. This is at 132,000. I thought it closed. Oh, it almost closed 3 times.
No, it's still going.
Oh, 144. Let's go. Wow. What a start.
That's awesome.
I remember whenever I was a kid, I would collect, baseball cards, stamps, all kinds of different things. And then I left and I joined the military, but all my stuff stayed at my parents' house. And every now and then I would think about it. I'd be like, I have like those Nolan Ryan card. Like I had all these different cards that I remember I had put into like sleeve cases and everything. And whenever I finally got out, I was like in my late 20s. And I went home and I got all that stuff. And the cards were like all beat to hell. Like I had built up an ideal of like how pristine and perfect they were. But I was just a kid like jamming stuff into sleeves. I didn't know any better. So whenever I actually looked at them, I was like, wait, these are all trash. Like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, that happens a lot.
It makes you wonder how many things were thrown out. I mean, I remember Spencer was telling a story recently about how he knows somebody who, Spencer, you want to tell a story about the VHS tapes?
This is my uncle actually. So so my uncle owned it's called Movies Unlimited, and based in the Philadelphia area, but it was like the first ever like mail in like video service or whatever, like mail catalog video service where you could like basically just like buy movies from a catalog and just get them shipped to you or like over the phone or whatever. But yeah, so he was like basically the first person in the country who did that. Built out a really, really, really big company, dealt with all the major distributors, all that. Working through all those, he received a ton of like promo screeners. He received a ton of like Academy Award screeners, all this kind of stuff. A few years ago, he was just like cleaning out his warehouse and all that kind of stuff. And he's looking at these tapes, and he's trying to figure out like what he can sell, what he can keep, all that kind of stuff. Mostly just trying to clear out space. And he sees that like on these tapes, it says, promo tape, not for resale, or, Academy Award, not for resale, penalties, fines, penalties, whatever. And he's like, oh, I guess I can't sell these out. I guess I'm just going to throw them away. Literally threw away like thousands of sealed promo and Academy Award tapes that he just like, cause he just thought like, oh, it's against the law for me to sell these things. So I'm just going to throw them out because I can't do anything with them.
That's so wild.
It's probably like six figures worth of tapes at least.
Wow.
Like multiple.
And these are sealed because they're all sealed. They were all sealed too.
And they were still sealed. Yeah, most of them. Yeah.
So a couple of my new coworkers that I've been working with at Vivi have come from other places like Crunchyroll and Mad Men Entertainment, and so a lot of them were part of companies in their early formation points of those companies. And because I'm friends with all of you, like I know like sealed VHS, sealed DVD, certain ones have some value. And so we were talking about like past projects that we've been working on, and they talked about some of the early anime projects that they're involved with. And they're like, yeah, they just send us like boxes of these things for us to like give out to people. And I was like, do you guys have any of that stuff? And so they have a bunch of like sealed way early anime. And so like, I'm like, cool. We need to get together and do a video together so I can see what you got.
Yeah.
Is there a market for the anime stuff too? Like
huge. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just going to get bigger. It's just going to get bigger. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
We're already up to 288,000.
Incredible. Wow. What a way to start the auction, huh?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Crazy. And you're right, Sean. Like it is amazing that something like this would survive. I mean, it's even amazing when you think about like Marvel Comics 1, some of those really, really, really early, how many were printed, just like the sheer volume that was created, but there was no perception that these might be a valuable thing. Yeah, that was purely just entertainment. It was a rag you bought off a newsstand, off this. It wasn't like this will have value someday. So that perception of value, and it really, for a letter like this, that applies even more.
Oh, so the previous sale was $208,000, And Corey, by the way, I 100% agree with you. It's incredible. I think I'm going to turn the audio on for this one, guys.
Do it.
Go for it.
I'm going to mute myself.
No, you keep it on. We can talk.
Yeah.
I'm leaving it on then, but I'm going to whisper.
There we go.
I can't hear him. Can you guys hear him?
I can't hear him. Let's look at the stream. Can anyone hear him?
There we go.
Sean, can you hear him?
Oh, yeah. You guys can hear it?
No, we can't hear him.
Okay.
For StreamYard, you'll just need to go down to settings, audio settings, and there should be a share option. You're using StreamYard, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we just have a new record. $5.4 million, the new record for any comic ever sold.
Witnessing history.
5.5. Witnessing history right now.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man. 5.52. Wow.
5.6.
5.6.
Yeah.
Fair warning.
Fly.
Fair warning. Oh, there it is.
5.7.
5.7.
Oh, no. We gotta see 6. Come on.
You think something like this is like a collective group pulling together, or do you think it's an individual?
It could be. It depends. Yeah, I mean, it could even be a hedge fund. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's wild.
Yeah, who knows? Like, I mean,
5.8.
5.8.
58.8.
Yeah.
I bet we'll find out in the next couple weeks.
6.
Like, someone's going to break a story about it. You know, it's going to be some crazy, like Eminem just purchased Action Comics #1. To be something like that.
Well, I mean, look at who was the artist that bought that 1/1 Magic the Gathering card? That was
Post Malone.
Post Malone. Post Malone. Yeah. He paid $2 million for that card. $6 million.
Hit 6.
There we go. The first $6 million comic. Let's go.
Man.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome. Wow.
That's just I can't even fathom.
Yeah, it's fun to hear a lot of credible companies now taking these assets very seriously in terms of value.
It was like a good sign on like Sotheby's and Christie's whenever NFTs were being sold. And that was kind of during the NFT bubble, and it was like just literally JPEGs and stuff like that. But like Beeple and different entities like that selling at auction houses that existed for centuries really added a lot of credibility.
Definitely, because
I believe recently there was a big sale. It was either Christie's or Sotheby's for a big like ordinal. There was like 100, there's a couple like 6-figure ordinal sales that happened like back in I think like January, February, around there.
No, I think it was 8 figures.
Yeah,
I think it was over $10 million, wasn't it?
Wow.
Maybe it was over $1 million. I don't know, but either way, they're still doing digital art sales though on those big auction houses.
Yeah. Because the Beeple auction that happened, I believe it was at Sotheby's, and it was sold for around $70 to $80 million.
$69 million.
69 million. 69 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
6.12. Yeah, they're gonna hold long on this one.
Oh yeah, they're gonna give people time. They're gonna be like,
I mean, they've got people on the phone right now. They've got people online.
They're taking
they got people in person.
I wish we had Vincent on your stream. Like that would have been a cool person to get on. I bet he would have been down to do that.
Oh,
he's probably bidding.
Wow,
sold 6.12 million.
All right.
Yeah. That's a new record comic sale, guys.
That's incredible.
Unbelievable. How long is that going to hold?
Yeah.
When was the last record comic sale? How many years ago?
It was 2 years ago,
right?
for 5.3, and it was with Superman #1 and 8.0 grade.
Superman 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Things are looking good for Darren.
Yeah, and I was right about the grails all coming first. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And for everyone out there who's watching right now, I think we probably got a lot of people who are joining us from Twitter. We're trying to build up our YouTube channel, so we'd appreciate if you guys would come over to YouTube and give us a like on the stream. Make sure to subscribe. We're almost at 10,000. We're trying to push the last little bit there.
Congrats, guys! That's amazing.
Yeah,
I can remember whenever I first started my channel. I think you guys were probably at about 3 or 4K whenever I very first got started.
Nice.
Wild. We're growing up. We're all growing up.
Little guys to get
big. And by the way, if anybody out there has questions about anything regarding collectibles, definitely ask them in the chat regarding physical or digital.
And come over to YouTube to post your comments. Then we'll bring them up and
subscribe. And subscribe.
And subscribe.
And hit the
You
notification
guys should
button.
multi-stream. Like you should stream live to everything at once. We can do
So we
that
do
now.
everything-
Well, we're streaming to Twitter and YouTube right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah.
Twitter.
We've tried Instagram too. Like Instagram, it's a little bit more like difficult in order to set it. You have to like put in like a stream code. That's like
the key.
A new stream code or key that you, like it resets every time you do one. It's a lot more seamless to do it just through Twitter and YouTube. So that's generally what we do.
Yeah.
Hey,
John,
John.
that is now the most expensive publicly sold comic in history. We're here to see it. Thank you everybody for being a part of this special moment. Super cool to share it all with you guys. That's awesome.
Comics are alive and well, folks, and especially the historic ones.
It's actually
we're looking at over 500K for this one now for the restored one.
Yeah. It's a funny point, John. We're definitely going to see prices beat each other out. I mean, I just wait till the next AF-15's 9.6 sale, and if that FF196 sale ever happens, I mean, I'll be shocked if that doesn't go 8 digits. I don't think there's ever been a public sale for. I think there's only 2 of them in its highest grade.
Wow. So at 500,000.
So no, this is not the highest grade. There's actually 2 9.0 grades of Action Comics 1. So this wasn't even the highest grade of Action Comics 1. It was an 8.5. It did come from a pedigree collection, so it had some prestige behind it, but still pretty remarkable.
And as John was saying in the comments there, I keep feeling it should be Jan or John, but as he was saying in the comments, it wasn't just a pedigree. It's the most historic and most sought out pedigree in comics. You know, and so clearly that purple label means something to the people that are spending money. So something to think about whenever you're out shopping.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, the pedigree isn't a purple label. The pedigree is like the
do a label breakdown. So there's the yellow label. We talked about that. That's signature series. The purple's restore. Then what's does the pedigree have a special color?
It's a gold. Yeah,
it's gold. Okay.
Yeah,
it's kind of like goldish. Yeah.
Do you guys have a cheat sheet?
In terms of
Sean's brain.
Nah, you should make like a little comics and crypto infographic for us.
And then Sean, there's a green label too, right?
There is a green label, which means the book is not entirely intact, or sometimes it could have like
or something.
Or it have like some type of signature on it. People have an option to choose like a lower blue label grade or keep a higher green label grade, which most people will keep the blue label. But yeah, John,
if the signature if the signature isn't verified, for example.
Right, exactly. But that's going to change now that that CGC has acquired a JSA, which is massive news for all their collectibles. Because now they're going to be doing not just comics, but they're going to be doing cards like right off the bat. They're going to be doing VHS tapes, video games, all that stuff. So it's really going to really excite the collecting community in terms of signatures. And John, to your point, 2 9.0s, we've also heard the same thing. We don't know who it is. So we can't confirm anything.
I saw that comment too.
It definitely, From our understanding, there's one person or one institution that owns both of them, which is absolutely incredible. So
Henry's asking in your comments, what's up all? Quick question. Why is Spider-Boy #1 so popular? No clue. Not the biggest comic knowledge head out there and still learning after 3 years in VB. Well, Henry, I think the reason that people care about Spider-Boy is he kind of just popped up in the last page of a comic. And whenever he popped up, he materialized out of the ether. And he essentially is like, I've been here the whole time, guys. Like, I know all of you personally. And whenever he says all of you, he's talking about, Parker, Route, like all the primary Spider-Men. And so that was the first appearance of the character. Then after that comic, he had his first solo series began. And so a lot of people are looking at Spider-Boy the same way you would look at Miles Morales. What is it? Ultimate Fallout 4? Am I right with that? So when Miles Morales kicked off, that was a new Spider-Man for a new generation. And so my son, I go to the comic shop with him. Whenever Spider-Boy came out, he wanted that comic to read, and I bought all the variants because I'm like, my son's 8. He's into reading comics. He really likes Spider-Boy. He has all the comics consecutive now. And so I think a lot of people who are looking at these comics as speculative books are like, Spider-Boy is going to be the next Spider-Man. Like for the next generation, that's who they're going to gravitate towards. So that's why I think there's a lot of hype around that one. What do you guys think?
That's so well said, Corey.
Spot on. Spot on.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and I'm presuming, Henry, you're referring to the prices as well on VV for the Spider-Man 1 comic. That also has to do with the scarcity factor, right? Because there's only 1,000 total editions for that comic, and there's only like 40 secret rares. So, it doesn't take a lot for those comics to fly if people are very interested in them. So,
and I think a lot of the people that are going on VV Comics are sort of conditioned by standard VV, where those editions super crazy matter. And so you have all the front list comics is what we're calling them, comics that we're releasing the same day as print, because that's the cool thing about VV Comics. Of all of those, I think people that have value in mind are trying to find what are the value comics. And so that's taking what are kind of spec books, like a gambling book, like maybe something will happen with this character, maybe something won't. But in the VV community, the microcosm we exist in, those have been elevated exceptionally. The VV values may not reflect the real world values, if that makes sense, for the physical side of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's okay. Like, that's how things should function. Digital collecting is different than physical collecting. They can coexist happily.
Exactly.
The opinion from Brian here. Not be the new Miles, but very cool character.
Yeah. The power of speculation.
Go argue with my 8-year-old, Brian. Have fun with that. I do it every day.
What was the final price on that other Action Comics one?
I believe it was about $500,000.
$500,000? Nice.
It was $576,000.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which is
just
way
$500,000.
up,
No big deal, guys.
Way up from its previous 167.
167.
Yeah. Not bad. Not bad.
It's been 10 years though, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
6.5 Amazing Fantasy.
What's up, Doctor?
Hey, Doctor Stuff. Woo! How you doing, bud?
There he is. Saw some
What's
posts
going
from him.
on,
You were at a
Doc?
convention, weren't you, Doc?
Yeah, he's at TMYC.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's
Nice.
awesome. Hope you had a great time out there.
I just got to see Doc and also Crypto Rain last week. I was out in Salt Lake City skiing, so got to have dinner with the two of those fine gentlemen.
Yeah.
The last time I saw you, you were like in a sling from skiing.
Oh, that's right.
that was a while ago at this point.
I appreciate you, Randy. Big shout out to Randy Chavez. Really nice of you,
I was
Randy.
literally just about to mention Randy. I just missed Randy by a day in Salt Lake City.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
That would have been
but no, I'm not in a sling, Corey. I've
You've
been
learned
out
from
of the
your
sling
mistakes,
since-
clearly.
I've been skiing a lot. Like I was like fully recovered by like mid-January, like last year.
Nice.
So it's been like well over a year. I've skied like 192 days since then. So
Monster.
Consecutively?
not consecutively, but I've skied 92 this season.
Amazing Man comics.
I've never heard of this.
I don't know anything about this one. Yeah.
Amazing Man.
The cover
You guys
reminds
don't know
me
this
of like the old Men's Health magazine. Like, my flesh was ripped by weasels, and it's got like a guy ripping an animal off of them.
That's so interesting, right? Like comics like this, I mean, it's still selling really well.
What's up, Doc?
There are a lot. What's up, Doc? Yeah. There's a lot of grails, especially Golden Age comics that don't have a lot of total editions on the CGC census. They're probably very, very scarce, but they're not as valuable because the popularity aspect, the relevance that Corey brought up earlier, those in terms of value. Something to think about, when you think about scarcity versus popularity, you got to have that combination of both. It's got to be important in terms of value. Collect what you love.
To think about, because a lot of these comics, really what they are is a representation of an IP that an IP holder has. And so from that, they can make toys, movies, merchandise, video games, etc. And so over a certain period of time, there's a character that may have existed but not really been used. Well, the IP holder needs to use that character to continue holding the rights to it. And so that's an interesting thing that's happened with Hulk, right? Like, we've seen a lot of different versions of Hulk. We've seen like a Sony verse, Edward Norton Hulk. Like, we've seen the current version of Hulk, She-Hulk, right? And so some of the reasons that some of these characters still exist and have value is maybe the potential of their use. Like, a good example of that is I was just talking to David Quinn 2 days ago, creator and writer of Faust, the Addiction comic with Vincent Cerzullo. And Faust just recently went through a Kickstarter. Whenever he wrote that in the late 80s, he wrote that at the same time as like Watchmen, Dark Knight Rises, The Crow, and it created the deconstructed superhero genre, which is like just a really kind of badass, darker look. We're allowed to cuss on your podcast. I won't go heavy. I'm sorry if that's a bad wrong, but it created like a genre, and a movie was made from it. But recently he's been in discussions with Sony for an animated television series. And so what might that do to the value of Faust? Like, it's still a treasured comic and it's still established a genre of comics. So that adds value to it. But if, next year there's an animated Faust series and it rocks like The Boys or an Invincible type thing, it might be worth having some of those in your back pocket. Yeah. And so whenever I see those comics, I'm like, I have no idea what that is. Like, sometimes it's worth scratching the itch and just looking like, could this be something? Like, is this a back pocket play?
That's a really good perspective. Yeah. I mean, I've talked to Brian about that too, about Ultimate Fallout 4, perfect example. When that first released, not a lot of people really thought about that comic. And he talked about how he traveled around and would start picking up copies of that because he was speculating on that character. But yeah, that comic probably wasn't even worth $100. I mean, I've talked to Ali at Elite Comics 11 about it too, and see that. I remember that comic. You can get it raw for like $50, $20, because the popularity aspect wasn't there yet. But when the movies came out, when the game came out, that's when the value of the character and the popularity of the character just skyrocketed. Because I remember that the 9/8s, they were around $350 back in 2018-ish, 19, around there. And then when the video game was announced, that's when it started taking off and hit 1,000. And then the bull run happened, and then it went up to $4,000 or $5,000 for a 9/8, which is a ridiculous market cap considering there's over 5,000 9/8s. Like, that's insane.
That's so many 9/8s.
Yeah, so many 9/8s.
Yeah. Good Lord. Yeah.
So ASM number 1. You know what I just realized, because we were talking about it a little bit earlier, is Doctor Strange's first appearance, Strange Tales 110, right? That cover and this cover are super similar,
right?
If you look at those two covers, like the layout and everything. Yeah. There's like the fire, like a Human Torch is like trapped in a cylinder.
Human Torch is on that cover too. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, they're both. Yeah, that's interesting.
And I think where that bubble is on this Amazing Spider-Man, and that bubble, it's like introducing, whatever he is.
Whatever that dude's name is.
Whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. That's funny. Oh, here's a good question from Henry. A question for you all. You can only own one comic on VB. Which comic would it be? You can't pick these. No A15, no Marvel Comics 1, and no Fantastic Four one shot. Henry, you know me well.
It's Daredevil 1 for me, like all day. Like that's I'm such a huge fan of Daredevil, and I just feel like that character has so many legs for usage in current and future media. There's a reason like Spider-Man is so valuable, and it's because the concept of Spider-Man, and really the concept of the masked hero, is anyone can be behind the mask. It allows the IP owner to create an endless amount of stories and media. Some of those movies, some of those television shows will really work and people will love them. Some of them are going to flop. But as long as you can obscure who is behind that mask, it gives you an unlimited field of play to continue to create. And Daredevil as a character, for me, just appeals to me more than a Superman or a character with crazy wild powers. Like, sure, Matt Murdock has heightened senses. He's blind, but he bleeds. He gets the crap kicked out of him. He's really just a dude out there doing the best he can. And for me, that's just a super relatable story. And so I truly feel like the next wave of MCU is going to be including sort of those street level heroes, Defenders, the Luke Cages, the Jessica Joneses, the Daredevils, the Kingpins. And because I think they've gone so cosmic and so metaversal that people want grounded stories. Yeah. And the more CG that exists, like the more fantastical the story exists, the harder it is to relate to it. I kind of liken it to like the original Lord of the Rings movies versus the newer Lord of the Rings movies, which were CG heavy. Like the original ones used practical effects. It felt like you were there. Like it felt like that environment was real. But in more modern ones, everything was CG. So it makes you suspend your disbelief so often. And
For
so
Lord of the Rings, do you mean the Hobbit trilogy, or
yeah, the movies itself, like the original movies with Peter Jackson, like, you know, they're floating barrels down rivers with people inside. Like almost a huge portion of that movie was practical effect driven, and that lent for a more realistic telling of the story and allowed you to ground yourself in it. So if you read the books, it was easier for you. But in the later movies, with like Smog and all of that, like it was so fantastical. It's a spectacle of the senses, but it was hard to ground yourself in that because of the fantastical nature. And so that's kind of how I felt with some of the more recent Marvel things, is that it's like the Marvel, like all of this is so CG heavy, so spectacular. I can't grow connected to the characters.
Yeah.
Daredevil is a character I can connect with, whether it's in print, whether it's in a television show or movie. So for me, I've talked too much. Daredevil one.
That's
all the way.
awesome, man.
Henry says the way Corey talks about everything, I just want to go purchase everything. I was thinking it. You said it.
Get one now on BB.
No, but Spencer, what about you?
So I might have talked about this before, but I love Strange Tales 110. I'm kind of like the opposite side of you, Corey. Like growing up, like I wasn't super into like comics or like superheroes, but I was very into like fantasy type stuff, like magic and medieval stuff, and you know, like Merlin and like, you know, those kinds of stories like definitely like attract me, like the magic systems. And so I really appreciate that side of the Marvel universe. So yeah, that's definitely my favorite book. Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. Kev?
So it's hard for me because, like Spencer, I didn't grow up reading a lot of comic books, although I read a lot of like those, like Faust and The Crow. I grew up reading those kind of comic books.
You grew up heavy, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, the one that's more important to me, and I do already own an original version of this. It's in my storage, but it's Spawn, the first Spawn. That is for me the comic that like blew my mind. I was like, you could do something like this? How crazy, with all these creatures and like he's from hell, and it's just like what? It was crazy. So to me, it's awesome, like I was not really into the Marvel DC as much as these other Image comics and everything.
Yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So King Spawn.
He has the best signature in the business, right?
So
he is the best signature in the business.
Absolutely. Avengers 196 closed at 456,000. So
wow. Nice.
So close to $500,000.
Dude.
Yeah. And for me, I would probably say it's really close between Tales of Suspense 39, First Prince of Iron Man, and X-Men 1. And they're for different reasons. X-Men 1, I mean, personally, I'm such a huge fan of X-Men. I grew up watching the shows, reading the comics. I love X-Men so much. And in terms of investment, you have like 6 first appearances on that comic. You have first appearance of Magneto. Yeah. And you have first appearance of the X-Men, Cyclops, Professor X. It just goes on and on. What a big grail. Also a spec book, because now we're seeing those characters come back to the MCU. So in terms of value and personal value, it checks off all the boxes. And then Tales of Suspense 39 represents a character that and Corey, you brought up those points earlier about how you fall in love with characters that are grounded. And even though, you know, Tony Stark is a billionaire philanthropist, he's a very broken character, you know, in the MCU and also in the comics. He's a broken character. And Kevin and I have had conversations about this a lot. And I know Kevin's brought this up. That was his favorite part about the MCU, was his character arc. And he had the best character arc in the first phases 1 through 3 until so that, for me personally, I mean, he's the OG. So for those two, but whenever Captain America Comics 1 hopefully eventually drops, that'll be my number one.
I haven't looked at Marvel Unlimited. Whenever you go to here, I'm just gonna do it. When you go to marvel.com, which version of the cover do they display? Out of curiosity.
It's the original cover.
Is it with the swastikas and everything on it? It's not the amended cover?
It's the original, yeah. Oh, speaking of which.
There
we go.
Hey.
Woo. All right. Starting good. 528,000.
9-2.
Sean, speaking of that character, I thought I had it with me over here, but I don't. But one of my favorite Iron Man covers is the cover when he's withdrawing from alcoholism, and it's just him holding a bottle, and he's just like sweating, and he's like bug eyes. It's like it's one of my favorite covers of all time. I have it somewhere in the apartment. I can't find it right now, but
awesome. That's a good cover.
Yeah.
I think you're right. You're right on with X-Men, though, Sean.
But
like
here's
the
the
future
Marvel
of X-Men is
Unlimited.
going to be immense.
Oh yeah, you got the swashstickers.
Yep,
in there
it's all
still.
there.
Yeah.
And I think the beauty of X-Men, like you said, is like all the comics we mentioned, really it's a first appearance comic. So the value is tied intrinsically to an individual. But something like, Giant Size X-Men or, Uncanny X-Men #1 kind of thing. I say Uncanny X-Men because that's what Marvel does, but it'd be X-Men #1. But those represent a host of characters. So the success of any one or a collective group affects that comic almost multiplicatively.
Yeah. I mean, look what X-Men 97's done already. I mean, it's a great show. Have you guys been watching it?
I haven't watched it yet. I want to.
I haven't had a chance yet.
I also haven't had a chance, which is crazy because Diana, who you'll see in the live premiere today on
big shout out to Diana.
the VV official, she got like early access to the episode. So I was like, don't talk to me. And it's like,
that's awesome.
I was like, as soon as they come out, I'll watch them. But I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to watch them. So I need to get on that because
it's really well
such
done.
a nostalgia bomb for me.
And it's such a great setup, for these reintroducing these characters. I mean, you see the value of X-Men 97 on VV. I mean, it reflects the popularity of these characters, and it was well timed with the show's release. So we're at 690,000. 690. So we're at, let's see, there we go. So 92, slightly under. If it finishes, is it close? Oh, so sorry, no, we're 720. It's still going. It's still going.
Hold on, Trust.
Got a little trigger happy there.
He's done three fair warnings at this point.
Yeah. Oh man.
Come on, people. You gotta let.
So what do you think? What for the comics and crypto crew? I know every time I see you all at conventions or hanging out, you always got a suitcase with you. You're always pulling it behind you. It's packed full of stuff you're getting signed. Like at what stage of the comics and crypto, both entertainment like this stuff, but like the actual business of collecting and reselling and all of that, at what point do you think you'll be sitting and being a bidder at something like Heritage Auctions for these like big lots? Like what do you have like maybe in 5 years I'll be able to do that, or 10 years? Like that's got to be part of your roadmap, right?
Definitely. I mean, it's like definitely the goal. I mean, when Omi hits $1, and then we're competing against every other Omi whale who also hit $1.
Yeah. Can you imagine? And then they could use Omi on Heritage.
I think the fun thing about what you guys do and why I love talking to all of you so much is you're always out hustling. You're at yard sales, you're going to different things, and it's sort of like whenever you enjoy a reality TV show about like gold miners and they're digging up the pay dirt, and it's like, how many ounces of gold will be in this pay dirt? We need this amount or we're not going to survive. It's kind of what you guys do. Like there's always a chance you're going to go to a yard sale or an auction and you're going to pull something out, and it's going to give you enough liquidity to be able to, participate in something like Heritage Auctions. Like you're always you're kind of just one hit away from that potential. So it's like, it's why I love knowing you guys, because there's just always a chance I'm going to see you on like the Toys That Made Us someday or something where, you found like a gold mine.
It's funny you say that, actually. Have you seen the one about the Ninja Turtles on Toys That Made Us?
Yes, I have.
So Mark Friedman, who's basically essentially, Mark Friedman was, for everyone out there, if you don't know who Mark Friedman is, he helped basically create the brand for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, what did it sell for?
780,000.
Okay, close lot. Yeah, close to the sale from last year. Okay. Daredevil 1, 980. I'll make this quick. Mark Friedman, he went to Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird and said, I want to help build your brand. And he helped create the show, manufacture all the toys. He helped create the film that came out in 1990. And we actually bought this off Heritage Auction. And but on it is actually right here. It's a pedigree from the Mark Friedman collection.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So this was actually.
Cool.
Sean froze.
Sean froze.
I was actually owned by Mark.
You're back.
I'm back.
Whoa.
Oh man. So that went to only.
That
went way lower than I thought. 300. Wow, 360,000.
Really?
That went way lower than I predicted. Yeah.
Teenage Mutant
Corey,
Ninja-
you could have got that one.
That's something I could have, right? Not really. I could have like leveraged my land. I moved out to where I grew up essentially, so I could have like a big house and a ton of acreage and live on a fraction of what I was living on in San Diego, which is awesome. So that's what I would have to do to buy something like that. I'd have to leverage all my land.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah. No.
Thanks.
Hey, but heck of a comic though, huh?
Real quick. This is that comic that I was talking about though.
Demon in a bottle.
Demon in a
Oh
bottle.
my god.
Hashtag
Winston
win
Canadian whiskey.
Win.
I just love this cover.
I love this cover now.
Demon in a bottle.
Yes.
Man.
I love that Iron Man
79.
title treatment. Like the Invincible Iron Man #1 was the first one to feature this title treatment, and is by far my favorite Iron Man treatment.
Mhm.
Wow. That was amazing.
I love that episode of the Toys That Made Us, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one.
Hey Jake,
So well
it works. We see you.
Oh,
It shows like the foam models, like they're trying to figure out
Yeah.
the colors. Like the first comic was a one and done. Like they kill like the big bad. I was in Target with my son and my wife, and it's like 45 minutes for me to drive to Target. I live out in the sticks now, which is awesome. I mean, I love it. I don't mind the drive. But I was at Target and my son was looking at Pokemon cards, and I turned around and they had a bunch of, articulated toys, like my Daredevil #1 figurine, and they had a vintage collection of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's like the retro version that looks exactly the same as the ones that I had whenever I was a kid, where their turtle shell opens up and all there's like the pizza discs that they throw. It's sort of that orangish yellow color.
I remember that.
And I think that's why I love doing what we do, is like the feeling I had whenever I saw that. I was like instantly transported. And then I was also just like, why are these here? Like, because you see those every now and then when you go to like an LCS, and they've like they've shifted the price to whatever the fair market value for that would be, which is more than I'm willing to spend at this point. And so whenever I saw that, I bought like all of them. Like I bought one of every single one. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's so cool.
Those original Turtles figures, they go
so
for
cool.
a lot.
There was like the
they're
who was the
valuable.
brain guy? What was his name? Help me out. Like
Krang.
Krang.
Yeah.
And he had this big like Death Star looking thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I had that, and
the Technodrome.
I wish I still did.
That was
And I think I looked on eBay one time to get one, but it's just like everyone's up to what's going on. Like you can't just have stuff because you love it anymore. Like everything has to be a collectible from whenever we grew up.
Yep.
How much did that last one go for?
156,000.
156. Okay.
Batman #1. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
No. So there it is.
$600,000 for 3.9.
I love that comic. I love everything about that comic. I love the coloring.
$600,000 for a 3.0.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then
these
also
old DC comics, there's just so few of them. So like it doesn't even matter. It's like
Daredevil #1 and original Daredevil and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tie-in. Are you guys hip to this?
Wait, what?
Okay,
No.
so like do a Google, how does the Daredevil relate to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? And so essentially the ooze that creates the Ninja Turtles is the same chemical that splashed in young Matt Murdock's eyes that blinded him and gave him heightened senses. There's actually a canonical, like it's in canon, tie between those two franchises. I mean, there's a lot of debate about it, but go ahead and like jump down that rabbit hole because it's like so worth it. It's just another reason to love Daredevil. I'm just saying, guys. Like,
I'm looking right now at a YouTube video. Did Daredevil create the Ninja Turtles?
There it is, man. I'm telling you, it's a whole rabbit hole. It's worth jumping.
The first thing I clicked on, it says they are not actually connected, but here are the like. All right.
I'm gonna say they are.
Yeah,
you got
I would love it if they are. I think that's
confirmed.
Cool.
We have a question here from Jake. So Jake has a ton of collectibles after years of collecting. Zero patience for eBay and listing. Is there a bulk service he can send to that can sell all of them for him? Do you know about that, Sean?
I think it would depend on the quality of the items.
Yeah,
at least people that I know personally. That's a very good question.
What I would do if it was me is, depending on where you live and how accessible businesses are to you, is I would shop around to your local LCSs, especially ones that it depends on what you're collecting. Like, are these like Lego minifigs? Are these like sealed Boba Fett's? Like, whatever, like what are these products? But I would find some LCSs in your area, local comic shops in your areas or hobby shops, and talk to the owners and just be like, hey, I have all this stuff. Like, I don't want to go through the hassle. If I trusted you to do this, could we do a contract for a certain percentage and you would get a percentage per sale?
Yeah.
And how sweet you make that percentage is probably going to determine how much work they do to help you sell those items. And so, like if you Google Vincent Zerzolo from Metropolis Comics and Comic Connect, there's a reason that when Vincent was a little kid, he just pushed a cart down the streets of New York and sold comics. Now he is the world-renowned and largest comic book dealer in the world for vintage comics and collectibles. And so when people want at that level to get rid of their things, they go to a person like Vincent because he's established his credibility and he's made connections with people who are guaranteed buyers. And so depending on your city, there might be an entity that exists that does that already. If not, it might be worth just reaching out to some of those, what you feel are trusted sources, and just do a quick Google and look at what are they selling? How are they selling it? What are their social, platforms? Because I'm with you, like eBay is a nightmare. I don't want to shill digital collecting, but like the beauty of VV or Candy or any of these digital collectible platforms where you have the capability of selling is it's instant, it's trusted, and you don't have to do anything but push the buttons. And that's kind of the beauty of that, our industry.
Yeah,
totally.
And I would also say just to start off real quick, Spencer, just to start off the bat, make a list or spreadsheet of what you own and do research in terms of what you think what they are worth. Go on eBay, check Heritage Auctions. I'm not sure exactly what you have, but check these different platforms and determine how much they've been selling for recently, so you can understand the value, at least on your end, because it's important you understand the value of what you own. So when you do end up wanting to sell them or sell in bulk, you have a rough estimate of how much it's all worth.
Yeah.
That's really, really important. Sorry, Spencer.
Really important. No, I was gonna say, but we know a couple people who like will buy full collections of bulk. So if you want to send us a DM and let us know what you got, then we might be able to connect you with somebody who might be interested in buying the whole collection.
Definitely.
Yeah, we have a few people.
Yeah,
because whenever I was in Lexington, I just developed a relationship with one of the LCSs, and it wasn't like one of the big chains. It was just a guy and his wife that ran a shop, and I knew what the value of things were, and he would essentially just upcharge me whatever the fair percentage was for what, because they have to do business too. Like, you're never going to get fair market. They got to make some money. But because I knew what the value was of the items I was buying, like, it was always fair. So that is who I entrusted. If I ever found something that I was like, I want to offload this, that's who I went to.
Yeah. There you go. And Jake, so you can go to our website, comicscred.io. You can contact us there. And also, while you're there, sign up for our newsletter. Why not?
What are you guys putting in your newsletter? You're hawking it. What's in there?
Oh,
what's the WIFM? What's in it for
our newsletter?
Me, right?
Well, we have a newsletter that includes new blogs that talks about the collectible space. We talk about record sales in both physical and digital collectibles. We talk about what's coming to auction. We just cover it all in our newsletter.
Yeah.
So basically,
we also do exclusive giveaways as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kevin.
Sorry, Kevin. Go ahead. Sorry, bud.
I think we're all like a little bit out of sync here.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
I'm caffeinated. It's my fault.
Cheers.
What I was going to say though, we with the newsletter. So everybody who's been on the newsletter and who's already signed up, we've been keeping tallies. We've been paying attention and keeping track of who signed up, how long you've been signed up. We've been keeping track of your engagement on the newsletter. So if you've been clicking on links, we've been keeping track of that too. And we're working on I guess we'll call it like a read to earn type system, where you're actually going to get better chances in our giveaways for engaging in the newsletter. So if the longer you've been subscribed and the more that you actually open the links and actually engage with the newsletter, the better chances you're going to have in our exclusive giveaways.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. If you're subscribed already, make sure you're opening, make sure you're clicking on the links for better chances on our future giveaways.
Nice. Are those weekly, monthly? How often is your newsletter?
At the moment they're bi-weekly, but we'll see. We may go weekly at some point.
Nice. Yeah. Very cool.
And this comic here is Fantastic 449, the first appearance of Galactus and Silver Surfer. Yeah, very big comic. Really hope to see this on VV in the future. Very, very big key.
And signed by Stan.
It's signed by Stan. There's only like I think 4 or 5 copies that are actually yellow labels as a 9.8. I think we've seen a sale for over $100,000 as a blue label 9.8. So the 9.8 for this one, man, I really hope it passes 100. Yeah, that's a pretty good snipe if they're able to get under 100.
Yeah.
I'm surprised none of us talked about Silver Surfer for our favorite comics, but that's just because this FA isn't on VV yet. That's probably why. Yeah. So many of the people I talk to just love Silver Surfer. It's just their favorite. And it makes sense because the
Comics,
artwork for Silver Surfer is so good. The story's so good.
How much?
So psychedelic.
I think I said 90,000.
Oh, really? Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
My wife calls him like the Capri Sun Man, because remember those commercials?
Yeah. That's hilarious. Oh, that's so funny. Wow. That's so funny.
Oh man, the Capri Sun.
How funny if this 9.8 sells for over 100, the blue label.
What's the historic values for these?
I've seen a 9.8. It's sold for over 100,000. I think just over 100. That's the highest sale for this comic.
Yeah.
So that 9.8 signed by Stan Lee was a pretty good purchase, man.
Yeah. Again, signed by Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Come on.
Especially as a 9.8. I mean, when you we've had a chance to actually meet Stan Lee before he passed, and it was like an assembly line. Like he's signing stuff, and it's people are pushing things. So like having a chance to get something as a 9.8 back from that signing is pretty remarkable.
Was that $65K for that last one?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty.
Where are you seeing the final sale price?
So bottom right corner, right here. So you'll see it right here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the actual like full sale price.
So that's the full sale price right here. Everyone out there, so you know.
Yeah. It's a little confusing because again, buyer's premium and other things like that, and the final bids going. But
you guys are adding that amount to what you're saying,
and that's the market. That's the advertisement price, the final price.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And just so we're also not too far away. So we have some really awesome grails coming up, but also we can, if you guys are down to hang just until this one, the 9.8.
Yeah. Ooh, the 9.8.
That'd be awesome. We're getting pretty close to those. And actually, we have some other big grails along the way. So everyone out there, definitely stay tuned for those.
There he is, Hot Pete. He's Hot Pete.
Hot Pete.
He's sticky.
We got to bring him back.
PPP. PPP. It's really interesting, the CBCS labels and CGC labels when you compare them, because CBCS actually, even as a 9.8, is typically about 10 to 20% less in terms of value.
Whoa.
As a 9.8. Oh, did I freeze again?
No, you jumped out.
Yeah.
Man.
No, he also jumped out, but
one of my favorite.
Maybe drop out. Maybe drop out and come back in.
I'm worried because I'm connecting everything together, so we're gonna lose everything. I'll just hang tight.
Yeah, you sound okay. What did that last one go for? This whole thing?
What was that? Sean just disappeared.
I just took him down and brought him back.
I'm back.
And then Jim 85.
Ooh, nice.
This is another tough one because this comic, hasn't really sold in its highest grade, so it hasn't really helped lift the ceiling up for this.
Loki, Master of Stories in the MCU, right? Like that was a big evolution. I guess spoilers abound here, but if you were watching Loki on Disney Plus, major, probably one of my favorite story arcs for MCU characters. Like whenever we go from the first Thor movie all the way through Loki. Like that is probably one of the best arcs. And the future, God of Stories, like what does that even entail? Is that going to tie into some sort of future multiversal projects? Like who even knows? So Loki's a wild card and best actor in the world to play him. Like just perfect pairing. What he auditioned for Thor initially, And
yeah, he did.
Didn't get that.
Yeah. It's actually funny. I had a friend that worked on I think it was Avengers. It was one of the Avengers films, and she worked with him actually pretty closely. And she said that the only thing that producers would complain about him is that he takes forever in the makeup and hair department because he just talks to everyone and everyone loves him. So they like get lost in conversation. But apparently Tom Hiddleston is the most like just wonderful human being. And she could not speak highly enough of him. And she really adores him. Yeah,
I've heard him talking about like his process of like reading the scripts and getting in the characters. And sometimes you hear actors talk and it kind of just sounds really inflated. And for him, it really feels like passion. Like he's really a relatable person. I'm glad he's had such success.
Yeah, me too.
Have you guys seen the season 2 of Loki?
I am dying to watch it. I have not.
You still haven't seen it yet? Oh,
yeah, I still haven't seen it yet.
Please watch it.
Forget everything I said. I mean, I'm not talking about X-Men because that's recent. But Loki was a long time ago.
Yeah. Me and the girlfriend watch a lot together, so I've been trying to push it because she has still seen season 1. So,
what do we got on Vivi? We got like Alligator Loki. I think that's our Loki release, and we've got Miss Minutes. I actually really like Miss Minutes. It's like kind of a holographic digital collectible. It looks really slick.
It looks good.
It looks really
good
cool.
in AR. Yeah.
She's such a cheeky character. If you like her, you're really gonna like season. The latest.
You're really gonna like season 2. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yep. We're only a couple comics away from Sensation 1. Very excited for that one.
Justice League of America.
America.
JLA.
JLA.
What's gonna happen with the Justice League, man? That's what I'm always wondering.
We'll see when they start rebooting, which is soon.
Hey, Bill. What's up, Bill?
What up?
Shout out to Bill.
42 missed minutes.
Low Mint King.
Nice.
Low Mint MM.
And as everybody knows, 42 is, of course, the answer to everything in the universe. So,
From Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yay, Sean, you remembered.
Thanks for all the fish.
Everybody. It's a big moment for Sean.
Farewell and thanks for all the fish. My wife hated that movie because she loved the book so much, and she said the movie wasn't nearly as good as the book. But it's just one of those things.
It's true, but it's still a fun movie. I love the books as well. I also love the original series they did in Britain in like the 80s. If you haven't seen that, watch it. It is the most bizarre and amazing thing ever.
Oh, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's so good.
I'm gonna put a note right now. I gotta watch the animated X-Men first, though, or I'll be in trouble.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Priorities.
So I've never seen this comic before. Punch Comics number 12. That's a cool cover.
That's a cool cover.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what that is.
I don't know, but somebody wants to pay 50 grand for it.
Yeah, man, some of these Silver Age covers are really dark.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen those.
This is Golden Age.
What is this?
Yeah.
Oh, this is 1945. Wow.
Oh, 45. Holy crap.
This is Golden Age, Sean.
This is like long before the Comic Code Authority. Like comics were being written for soldiers, who are out in the.
Yeah, the Silver Age. A lot of the Silver Age and Golden Age like crime covers were really brutal, really brutal.
Oh, you shooting him in the face.
Yeah, he should have been standing there.
I've been looking at Faust covers for the last 2 days because I was talking to David Quinn. So this is nothing, man.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Sean doesn't understand. No.
I don't get it.
John says it's a seminal cover in the horror genre.
Oh, it's for a horror. Nice. I have to look that up. Oh, Sensational Comics 9.
Sensation Comics number 1.
Here we go.
So this comic is a 1 of 1 in the highest grade as a 9.6. There's only one, and the last sale was $400,000 about 5 or 6 years ago.
Wow. All right.
We're just about through that.
Yeah. It should cross that.
There's no way. It's got to cross the original.
No way. If it doesn't, I'm going to be like, what's wrong with you people?
I don't know. Maybe people just they went a little too hard too early in the auction, and the big money's out.
Let's check the news. I want to see if there's any articles out about this Action Comics number 1 that just broke the record. If you're tuning in just now, Sean, why don't you tell them about the historic moment that just happened?
We officially have a new record for the highest sold public sale comic in history. Action Comics 1, 8.5, has sold for $6.1 million. The first comic ever to cross $6 million. Incredibly exciting news for the comic collecting space.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So congratulations to the seller and buyer for that one.
Yeah.
Bleeding Cool just published an article 34 minutes ago.
Nice.
The Kansas City copy sets a record.
There we go. I was worried.
Yeah, 408. There we go.
Nice. I was getting a little worried there. It was
yeah, no, it was like
it was staying below 4 for a while.
But now everyone's like, all right, fine. Here's my money.
Just throw it in there.
Yeah.
Gotta see it cross 5.
Yeah, come on, people.
Come on.
Wonder Woman. Come on.
I feel like my knowledge of comics is kind of limited to Vivi because it's like obviously what I do, right? Is I research all the different things that release on Vivi, whether that's comics, collectibles, cars, whatever. And so I know a fair amount about comics, but outside of the scope of Vivi or of what we have on Vivi, I just don't know a ton. So I can't wait. Vivi Comics is, I just talked to David in that interview that we're going to be live premiering today on the Vivi official channel. Yeah. And we talked a little bit about new publishers coming to Vivi Comics. And so the first one's going to be obviously 20th Century Studios, which is going to give us like Planet of the Apes, Predator, Aliens, like all those good stuff. And that's only going to increase over time. So I'm super stoked because the graphic novel option is now in there. So we can support graphic novels, which really opens Pandora's box.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love this cover.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the previous
yeah.
Sensation 1 sold for about, I think, 438, somewhere around there, 448.
Wow.
So it did beat the previous sale, but not by much.
It did. That's shocking.
Pretty shocking. Yeah. My prediction was way off.
Can you zoom in on this cover, Sean?
Yeah.
It says it's signed in silver.
That's
that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There.
So everyone out
there.
Yeah.
This is the only 9.8 yellow label in existence.
Oh,
for Silver Surfer 1.
And signed in silver too.
Oh, that's
actually the record sale for this comic as a 9.8 blue label was around 140,000 around there. So, yeah. This is a big auction right now for this one because this is truly a 1 of 1 and the only 9.8 that'll ever be signed by Stan Lee.
Wow.
And I feel like with Fantastic Four rolling back into the MCU, the introduction of the mutants back into the MCU, like Silver Surfer ties so intrinsically to all of those separate storylines.
Yeah.
And again, Silver Surfer is a character that anyone can play and it can exist in a multitude of eras. Like one of the cool things about WandaVision was that Wanda had created essentially an era, right? So it's kind of like a fresh take. It was in modern day and it was all fabricated, but it was like in a different era of shooting. Silver Surfer is one of those characters. He can be shot and made stories in anytime, any place. He can be in the cosmos. He can be on Earth. It's just Pandora's box again. Just great character.
And I don't know if you guys have been following the news, but actually it was just confirmed yesterday, actually, that Julia Garner from what was the show
Ozark
on Netflix. Ozark, thank you.
Oh, okay.
She's been casted as the female Silver Surfer.
Nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, she is a phenomenal actor. She is such a good actor. Yeah, super excited for her career in the MCU. Very cool.
A character I'm looking forward to that ties into the Silver Surfer is Mephisto. Right? So Silver Surfer number 3 is the first appearance of Mephisto. And he goes after Norrin Radd because Norrin Radd is a pure and incorruptible soul, which is just like catnip to, a hell lord. And so Mephisto is one of my favorite characters in comics, and it's not a character that's been touched on. And I think we've all speculated over time with the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. We're like, it's Mephisto. Mephisto is the one that's creating all these lies and these illusions.
Yeah.
But he still hasn't made an appearance. So I'm really hopeful for that character to roll in.
Yeah, definitely. And just everyone out there, the previous sale for that Silver Surfer 1 signed comic by Stan Lee was 112,000.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be more than that, to be honest.
Yeah. Good value there.
Yeah. We're all going under.
Yeah, John said it best here in chat. Because Stan is gone, there will never be another to rival this.
Yeah.
Like I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, it's truly a 1 of 1.
Very much.
Yeah. And this one too, I'm surprised. We're at 144, significantly more than what it was 10 years ago.
Pete, come on.
Paste Pot Pete.
I'm gonna look that character up right now. Whatever happened to Paste Pot Pete? I'm used Comic Vine. I really like Comic Vine's like biography breakdowns they do.
I think we're looking at two things here. I think it's interesting about DC because DC has not made their films in terms of popularity compared to Marvel haven't really reached that level. I'm very excited for what James Gunn is going to do in the MCU, in the DCU. But I think that's a big catalyst right now for a lot of the comics is the terms of popularity. Like we mentioned earlier, they didn't have that phase 1, 2, and 3 10-year run like Marvel did, and you saw the boom of the comics go skyrocket because of it. So, in my opinion, I'm very bullish on James Gunn and what he's going to do with DC, and I think there's a tremendous opportunity. Not financial advice ever, but I am excited for DC Comics' future, and in terms of collectability and value.
Yeah,
for that reason.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping we see dynamic directing from James Gunn because James Gunn does a specific thing very, very well, but what worked for Guardians may not work for other things. And I kind of felt that way with, I liked Ragnarok, but Love and Thunder didn't give me the same vibes. And so I feel like James Gunn, just from the interviews that I've read from him, is going to be looking a little more at that canonical material. And I think that's what core audiences really want. Like, sure, give us a new take, give us your take on it, like add your fingerprints, but it still needs to be what it was, Yeah. And as for Pete, he is now known as the Trapster. He appeared in 451 issues of comics, believe it or not.
What? Wow. All right.
He went from just paste to, advanced traps and snares.
I like that he had to redo himself. He's like, Paste Pot Pete, it's not working.
Well, he should team up with the Collector, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Here we go.
Here we go.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm curious if a lot of people were waiting too for this one. We'll see if the price reflects
probably.
I would think so.
It's moving quick.
This is like this again. Everyone out there, this is a 1 of 1 in its highest grade is 9.8. Apparently, this comic sold for $2 million in a private sale last September through Comic Connect. So we'll see if this one's going to
see how good the flip was.
It is the single highest graded copy of Iron Man's first appearance and origin. In addition to the extraordinary grade, the eye appeal of this off the charts, as this is possibly the best centered copy we have ever seen, with the quotation marks around Iron Man in the cover blurb almost fully present and accounted for. Wow. So
I guess a lot beautiful of pipes in the business, Kevin Lee Loader.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. But that's interesting that they made note of that most of the times these are either cut off or off centered, and that this is such a beautiful grade. Wow. Already at 840.
I really like this cover. I like the panel inclusion on the front. It's just a really interesting layout for sort of a first appearance comic, which was kind of rare for this era. Again, we talked about that. Like a lot of times first appearance characters, they didn't even put them on the cover because they didn't even know they were going to be a thing. So clearly,
they weren't thinking about first appearance. Yeah,
that's it. Right. And so with this, there was an intention, right? Like whenever they were coming up with the idea of Iron Man, they already envisioned he's going to be a thing. Like we're not going to test this out and see how it works. We got stories planned for this, so put them on the cover.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is this going to sell under $1 million? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I was going to say, come on, people.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, man. Come on, open your wallet.
Wow, this guy ends up buying this for $2 million a year ago and then selling it for $1 million.
Oh, he bought it for $2 million a year ago?
Yeah, he bought, not even a year ago.
Allegedly, yeah.
Ooh.
No, it's confirmed on Comic Connect's website.
Is it?
Oh, was it confirmed?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's private sale.
He's shitting bricks right now.
Man.
And we saw it happen recently too with the Superman. It was the Superman 7.0? Yeah, it was sold for $2.6 million, and then a year later, 1.6. So it was $1 million loss on that comic. So, but that doesn't change my opinion on that comic, for the future value. But
Definitely.
wow, 870, under a million, under a million.
What?
You should have had some pages for this
Wow.
comic available, so we could have had the people screaming in horror
Yeah.
for the Mark I suit.
Jesus, 800,000, 807.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
great value for the buyer.
Great value for the buyer.
So any other big ones coming up? Are there any?
I think this was your.
Yeah, this
was the target. Yeah,
that was the target.
Yeah,
the Charles book coming up.
Man, it sucks that I kind of ended on that.
Well, it's yeah. Well, thank you everybody for joining today. We did see a record sale. We saw the record sale happen today. That was awesome. History in the making. And Corey, thanks again for joining us today, man. That's been a lot of fun.
I'm always happy to chat with you guys, and I got time.
And thank you everybody for joining out there. Really appreciate you all. Make sure to get involved in that giveaway we mentioned earlier. We're giving away these 3 comics. Apparently, there's an possible error in the comic.
Yeah.
He froze.
That's not an error. That's a shiny beast. I already told you.
Freezing up again.
Yeah, exactly.
When I freeze,
Shiny holographic
Pokemon
beast.
And then I have to plug our YouTube. So on the VV official YouTube channel, we've got a live premiere today. That's going to be with David Yu, Vincent Zerzolo, David Quinn, Vincent Zerzolo, Metropolis Comics, Comic Connect, David Quinn, Faust, The Addiction, amazing writer. Diana's going to be on there as my co-host, and that's going to be at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So love for you guys. Check it out. And also, there's a promo code thing going on with that. I may have made a commercial for a certain product that Vincent partnered with. I don't know if you guys know, but in the Addiction #1 comic, Vincent partnered with a pizza shop out of New York.
Oh, really?
And so that's why on the cover of that comic, there were pizza boxes with VV hearts on it. For this comic, Vincent again partnered with a certain food company, and that food company was gracious enough to allow us to provide a certain promo code to get some sweet discounts. So definitely check it out.
100%. Everyone make sure to check that out and go to the VV's YouTube page and make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Full up-to-date comment by the amazing team. Corey, you put on amazing content, by the way.
And check out our newsletter.
I got the coolest job. Like, it's easy.
You kill it. You crush it. Oh yeah, and sign up for our newsletter. Sign up for our newsletter.
Yeah.
Link. Bi-weekly
blogs. Yeah, bi-weekly. We have up-to-date information on sales for physical and digital collectibles and upcoming auctions. All the crazy, amazing news in the collectible space.
Yeah. So stay up to date. Sign up now.
Well, thanks again for joining, everybody. I appreciate you all for joining and being a part of this historic day, and we'll see you on the next one.
Spin outro.
Bye.